What's going on, everybody? This is Bunjamin Bakchoy bringing you another F1 2021 video. Today going to be looking at this week's weekly event. It is a featured event playing as Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes at Zandvoort. Last week's was a qualifying race at Coda. I did the quali portion, but I slept through the weekend, so I didn't really do the race, I should say. But I don't really like those events anyway. So again, today you're going to be in the Merc, starting in the pits. Looking to get up to P6 by the end of the race. The setup that I'm using today is just a time trial setup with the rear suspension lowered by 1 click, just to kind of help stabilize the car a little bit, as those time trial setups are really twitchy and oversteery. So you'll be starting off in the pits. I did try to change the tires to medium, but by the time you get control of the car in the pit lane, it's kind of too late for you to really do anything about it. There are only, I think, 8 or 9 laps remaining anyway, but as with a track like Zandvoort, the tire temps kind of play a little bit into this as well. So I did want to try it on the mediums, but you can't change it, so you're kind of stuck on the softs. Slowest pit stop time is a 2.9, fastest is a 2.7. You want to look to get a 2.7 just to get out in front of Giovinazzi and Ocon here. 2.9 is probably doable if you're really good at this game, but I suck at pit exits, so I need all the help that I can get. So if I didn't get a 2.7, I just reset it. Again, I'm not sure if I said this is at 105. I did run it at 105 before this run, but I didn't have it recorded. I only recorded my 100 AI run, and I beat that pretty easily after that run, so I didn't bother putting that up. But yeah, I think you're about 10 seconds behind Raikkonen when you get out of the pits there. And as you can see right now, not even close to the end of the lap yet, and we're already closing in on 8.5 seconds. Back markers are an issue here, but they're not as bad as they were in Suzuka from the weekly event a few weeks back. In this race, they'll actually get out of the way in a timely manner, and you don't have to worry about running into the back of them. So coming into the start of lap 65 now, 10 seconds has now dropped to a little under 7.5 seconds. The AI is battling. As you can see, I don't use too much overtake right now, because I think a couple of these cars, you'll catch up to them in pairs, so you really want to save all of your ERS for when you run into that situation, and it'll help you get by the 2 cars a little bit easier. So this is Schumacher out in front of us right now. He's a back marker. Don't have to worry about overtaking him. Once you get close enough, he'll just jump out of the way like most back markers do. And the first person that you will be fighting for position will be Raikkonen, but as of right now, he's still a little over 6 seconds ahead of us. So right now, for these first couple of laps, just really looking to drive cleanly and efficiently as possible, trying to save as much time as you can without wearing out your tires, as you'll need them towards the end of the race. I think you have the freshest tires. I didn't pay much attention to the mini-map, so I think you're the last car to pit, so you should have the freshest tires on track right now, and shouldn't be too difficult overtaking these guys. So now coming into the end of lap 65, start of lap 66, gap is now a little over 4.5 seconds to Raikkonen. He is battling up there with Russell being on the old hard compound tires, so it shouldn't be too difficult with these guys. Tsunoda is in the mix as well. I think you'll gain a little bit of time because they'll be passing him in a little bit. So he will kind of slow them down for you. And then when you do catch up to them, Tsunoda being at the tail end of those 3 cars will help you get into DRS, even if you aren't under a second to Raikkonen or Russell. So just have to watch out for where you catch up to these guys. So as you can see right now, the cars in front of us aren't really visible. Just catching them going through that last corner there. Even though we were just under 3 seconds behind them, as you can see now, that since they're battling through these last few corners here in sector 3, we do end up gaining a lot of time on them, just a little under 1.5 seconds to Russell. But like I said, luckily Tsunoda is there at the tail end of this as we hit the curb and lose the car for a second there, putting on the overtake, even though I don't really want to. We do get into DRS. Tsunoda stays well out of our way. and now we are within a second to Russell. So as long as you're driving pretty carefully here, you should be within DRS the next time you get to a DRS detection point. But since I noticed that Russell's on really old hard tires, I try to out-traction him out of here. It doesn't really work, but we do get a little bit of a speed boost down this straight with the ERS, and we do eventually get out in front of him. A little bit of contact with him there, but no warning comes up, so we don't lose any points. And now really just focusing on Raikkonen going into this next DRS zone. Currently we have the fastest lap right now at a 1:11.8. Everybody is on older tires than you are, so you don't really have to worry about anybody pipping you for fastest lap, as we get a little snap of oversteer out of there. But the DRS does help us get out in front of Raikkonen there, and then that's pretty much it. Once you pass these guys, you don't really have to worry about them coming back to overtake you. Now focusing on Vettel out in front of us as we finish up lap 67. 4 laps left to go. 5 laps left to go now. Once we start lap 68, 3 seconds to Vettel, and then you can see Gasly out in front of him, 6 seconds ahead of us here. Vettel is on the softs, but I don't believe he pitted after we did, so he should be on much older softs. I don't really know, but it's not really hard to catch up to him, so they've got to be pretty worn out at this point. 2.5 seconds now to Vettel. Yellow flag behind us. I think that's Tsunoda DNFing behind us, so nothing to worry about. Doesn't really help us, but doesn't hinder us either now. And now we are just a little over 2 seconds behind Vettel here in the Aston Martin. Trying really hard here to get within DRS. I know we are over 1.5 seconds behind him, but wasn't really sure what his pace was through this final sector here, and I was hoping to get within DRS, but we miss out by about 0.4 of a second. But there's still plenty of laps left to go. Start of lap 69 now, 4 laps left, and he is getting closer and closer as we go through this track. The cars in front of him aren't visible to us just quite yet, but at the end of this lap, you'll start seeing them right before they head through the next corner. So we are closing in on them pretty well at this pace on track right now. Getting under a second here to Vettel, so we should be able to get DRS at the next detection point. And just really, really closing the gap through every single corner now. Looks like Vettel's having some issues. I was hoping to try and get him, but down this DRS straight, but we didn't get a good exit, so we'll have to settle for the start-finish straight. And now you can see Gasly and Norris out in front of him too. So 3 laps left to go. All the cars that we need to overtake are now visible on track to us, so looks like this should be pretty doable. Using DRS and ERS to get out in front of Vettel here, as our wings are 11.10, so we're really suffering with straight line speed, but our speed through the corners really helps us catch up to these guys, and then the DRS and ERS are just enough to get out in front of them down the DRS straights. So now Gasly out in front on mediums, Norris on hards. Everybody's on harder compound tires, and I'm assuming they're really old. Under 2 seconds now to Gasly, and 2.5 laps left to go. So again, just trying to drive as cleanly as possible, not make any mistakes, and not lose any time to these guys. We're gaining through these corners here, just outside of DRS, I believe here. But they will start to squabble a little bit. You do have to watch out because Norris is about to catch up to a back marker out in front, so hopefully he doesn't get DRS when you're trying to overtake him. But we should be able to get one of these guys on the next lap here. Gasly's getting DRS too, so with our straight line speed, we're not going to be able to catch him here. Not gaining quite enough. For a second I thought about going down the inside, but he was too far ahead. Thought better of it, just hit the brakes a little bit harder and Luckily now Mazepin's got out of the way and Norris won't get DRS the next time we go through a detection zone. I thought about pulling the same move I did with Russell coming out of the carousel here, but Gasly has better traction and I don't have enough ERS left to really even attempt to move there. Close to 10% left with ERS. I do wish I had a little bit more here, would have made my life a little bit easier, but we do catch a break as Gasly's a little bit slow through this section here. We dab it down the inside, and now we have DRS on Norris coming down this short back straight here.
Nice move. Good job.
Still not close enough to really make a move on Norris, but it does set us up for the start-finish straight. And through this section here, I really wasn't looking to overtake him, but for some reason he was really slow through that left-hander there, and I just took the opportunity, got out in front of him. Have a little bit more ERS left, just blowing through all the ERS now as we're starting our final lap. And once you get out in front of these guys, it's really easy to stay out in front of them. They're all on harder compound tires and older tires, so so long as you don't make any huge mistakes, the nature of the track of Zandvoort just makes it really difficult for cars on older, harder tires to really make a move on you outside of the DRS straight. But yeah, that's about it. Once you get out in front of Norris, as long as you don't do anything dumb, you should be able to stay out in front of them. And we complete the weekly event. This was really fun. I'm glad that Cody's is doing more of these featured events this year. It extends the lifespan of this game, and it keeps their player base engaged for a little bit longer. I know the seasons, or this game's lifespan is kind of winding down. F1 2022 is just around the corner now that the F1 season's about to start. But I'm glad that they're still putting effort into these weekly events, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So after our first 105 run, we were 45th on the position charts, and after this run, I think this run gave us 3,000 more points to our score, and it was good enough to jump us up to 25th on the position chart on Wednesday. So I'm sure I'll tumble down the chart towards the end of the week when more people have sweated this out, more people have tried this event out, but I really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys pick up on one or two things that I'm doing in these races that will help you get better at this game and maybe complete this weekly event at a higher difficulty rating as well. I'll probably try to sweat it out a little bit more at higher difficulty ratings if I succeed, and if I happen to record it, I'll throw it up. But yeah, I enjoyed this one. So thank you guys for watching. If you think I've earned it, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I do apologize for all the popping in the background of the audio. Having some issues with my microphone for some reason today, but hopefully next time I do a video, that issue will be solved.